What if you could make the terrible twos not terrible, or not as terrible? What if you could make your child feel more loved, supported, and understood? What if you could even communicate with your child well before they learn to speak, which is usually around 10 to 14 months for the first words and 24 months for two-word sentences like want more or where mommy? As a parent, I can attest that's a very enticing premise. And it's the premise behind baby sign language. But not everybody believes that it's real, and some people even say that baby sign language could delay your child's linguistic development, stunting their intellectual growth, because of course they do. Anything you could possibly worry about as a parent, you'll find conflicting advice online. So is baby sign language snake oil, or does it live up to the hype? Well, as a linguist and a father, I did what anyone in my shoes would do. An IRB unsanctioned human subject study with an N of 1 and no oversight. I mean, I also did real research, but I tried it out. It's been over a year, and I'm certain that I know the truth about baby sign. So stick around, and I'll explain how baby sign language relates to regular sign language, whether it actually works, and some pitfalls nobody tells you about. I'm Dr. Taylor Jones, and this is Language Jones. Today's video is brought to you by, I'm just kidding, this one's actually not sponsored, but if you like the video and you find the information helpful, you can always support the channel by becoming a patron at www.patreon.com/languagejones or right here on YouTube with super thanks. So I was so confused by all the conflicting information about baby sign language before becoming a parent, but thankfully I already knew a little about early childhood language development, childhood multilingualism, and signed languages. But even then, there was a lot of bewildering information, so in this video, I'm going to answer what I wish was widely known, and what new parents, congratulations, and those with one or more on the way, might be confused about. If it's 4 a.m. and you're watching this while nursing or rocking your little one and desperately trying to stay awake, I want you to know that you're doing a great job. You will be a wonderful parent, and whatever you decide about baby sign or bilingual household or any of that will be okay. You have to do what's right for you and your family, and you'll know best what that is. That said, here's what I'm going to cover today. 1. Is baby sign the same as American Sign Language? 2. Does baby sign work at all? 3. Does baby sign work faster than spoken language? Why or why not? 4. What are the pros? 5. What are the cons? And 6. What don't people tell you that you'll want to know? Trust me, you'll want to stick around for the last one because it really threw us for a loop. So first things first, what even is baby sign? Baby sign is a set of manual gestures you can use to communicate with your baby and that ostensibly your baby can use to communicate with you. The whole premise is that they can do so faster than they can learn to speak. But this is important. Baby sign is not sign language. First, there are many different sign languages, just like there are many different spoken languages. American Sign Language, Black American Sign Language, thanks segregation, British Sign Language, Nicaraguan Sign Language, and so on are all different languages, as different as Chinese and English are. Second, signed languages, like spoken languages, are natural languages, not constructed languages. Even the ones that started as conlangs have had extensive natural development the same way that spoken languages develop, influenced by ease of articulation, in this case with the hands, social forces, random drift, and other factors. Third, ASL is not just manually signed English. It's got a totally different grammar than spoken English, which is actually quite similar to Mandarin Chinese. No tenses, but a robust aspect system, a topic, comment grammatical structure, and so on. Fourth, sign languages can be iconic, where it feels like the word is an obvious pantomime, but they're not necessarily iconic and very often aren't. For instance, this is to eat, but this is black. I guess if you have black eyebrows, it works. Lastly, sign languages have complicated grammatical structures. This is important. Your baby doesn't speak ASL, and all of the different baby sign companies and programs are not going to teach your child ASL. Just to give 2 examples, you can make the OR operator spatially in ASL, so positioning your body in different areas can indicate a logical operator. Babies are not going to grok that. Babies are illogical. Similarly, yes/no questions have a secondary articulation of the eyebrows in ASL, where they are raised. Eyebrows are obligatorily lowered for WH operator questions like where or who. So what is baby sign? It's using signs from ASL to communicate with your baby, but I just explained that ASL is as different from English as Chinese, so why on earth would anyone want to try to talk to their baby in hand Chinese? Not Han Chinese, hand Chinese. Okay. Well, the idea started in the 1980s with people like Joseph Garcia and Susan Goodwin, who worked on systematizing manual gestures with preverbal babies. Basically, it all boils down to this. Babies have tiny little mouths and big tongues and a total lack of fine motor control in their cute little mouths. But that doesn't mean that they don't have personalities and thoughts and desires and stuff. You know what else babies have? Hands. I mean, on average anyway. And they have much better, albeit not perfect, motor control over those hands. Once people started studying sign language seriously, so basically the late 1970s, it became apparent that the babies of deaf parents signed earlier than hearing babies spoke. So there's a couple of promises that come out of the baby sign movement capitalizing on this. First, does it work at all? The answer is yes. Our daughter has a pretty decent vocabulary of signs. The other parents I know who used baby sign report the same. And of course, tons of actual peer-reviewed studies also back this up. Does it work faster though? Again, yes. My wife and I were at an event with our daughter when she was maybe 8 or 9 months, and people kept remarking how quiet, well-behaved, and unfussy she was. We kept telling them that's because she can tell us what she wants, and they laughed at us. But at that point, she could sign milk, which also kind of meant mommy or want, but more on that later. And so she wasn't distraught with hunger because she got what she wanted pretty quickly. Now, we started at 6 months, which is way before they recommend and frankly doesn't seem to have made a difference. They usually recommend starting at 8 months. But well before she said her first word, she had multiple signs for want, milk, diaper change, bedtime, and bath time. And by 12 or 13 months, she was requesting things like bath time with signs. She still can't say either bath or time, but she can sign it. And this is pretty common. So take a baby who can't say food or hungry or eat or milk. Now she kind of says mew. And your choice is just not be able to communicate, or that baby can sign eat or milk or want and point to things. Which do you think will be the fussier baby? The frustrated one locked in the prison of her own mind. So at this point, the pros are pretty clear. Babies can use their hands more effectively than their tongues and much faster. They have thoughts and they can communicate in a very rudimentary way with baby sign. This means you can actually figure out if your baby is hungry or sleepy or sitting in a full diaper by just asking them. Your baby might lie, but that's a different issue and indicative of the fact that babies also have an internal life and rudimentary theory of mind. What about cons? Honestly, there are a few. First, you have to learn the signs for things, and that takes time and energy. Second, most of the people around you are not going to, so you're likely to have your baby signing at, say, the grandparents, and they completely miss what the baby is communicating to, building baby frustration. Third, people will literally simply disbelieve you and laugh at you when you say your baby uses sign language with you or that you use it with them. It's bizarre. They'll see you communicate successfully and act like you've trained your child to do some sort of bizarre parlor trick out of a malicious desire to deceive people into thinking that you're special. You should also be aware that your baby might not make the signs 100% correctly or consistently at first, and that's fine. If you stuck around, now we're at the good stuff. The weird things nobody tells you about when they're talking about baby sign. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe and share if this has been helpful. So, weird things nobody tells you. First, I don't know if this is just our daughter, but once she understood the concept of signing with your hands, she just started making her own. Like, we had no idea what she was trying to tell us, but she was very insistently telling us something with her hands. This is evidently normal and totally fine. And you don't have to use the official ASL signs for baby sign. They can actually be anything, whatever works for your family. Second, nobody tells you they babble. Our daughter has been saying some version of doggy all the time lately. Probably because they're cute and furry and adorable, and she can't stop thinking about all the doggies she's seen lately. Me too, if I'm being honest. But she also babbles in sign. One of the first things she babbled was our early diaper change sign. That was a long day. Third, they talk in their sleep. And like deaf, hard of hearing, and other signing children, they sign in their sleep. Lastly, they make cognitive connections that we might not. Our daughter has the sign for more, but she's combined more, want, and again into the same idiosyncratic sign. That's fine. It works for us. And honestly, those are pretty similar ideas. Leave me a comment if you think you can explain the distinctions. So hopefully this was useful. If you're wondering about using baby sign, I strongly recommend it, even though it's more work than not, because the payoff is tremendous. And the research is clear. You will not delay your baby's speech. You will not harm their linguistic development. You may even accelerate it. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, leave a comment to feed the algorithm, and think about maybe sharing this with your friends or any new or expecting parents. Special thanks to all my patrons. You can become one on patreon.com/languagejones, and if you're clinging to consciousness so you don't drop or wake the baby, you've got this. And if you like this video, YouTube thinks you'll probably like this one. Until next time, bye-bye!